All right, well, I guess I've never really gone over my actual XCP-ng hosts, so I figured I'd make a little bit of a video on that. So you can see I've got quite a few servers here, and obviously these things need to be cleaned up. This is an old Fantex case, that N2 Primo that I have sitting up here. That's one of my hosts because I haven't spent the money to get another rack mount chassis, and I'll talk a little more about the ones I have down there. So anyway, this is the top of the full height rack. In fact, if I zoom out here, you can see, like, yeah, this is pretty high up there, so forgive the kind of weird angle here. But anyway, that is a Threadripper 3970X, so that's 32 cores, 64 threads, so pretty beefy CPU there. It's also got 10 gig Ethernet built in, which is really nice. In fact, dual port. It's the Quantia stuff, I believe, which is not very great, but it works. And then this also has an RTX 2060 in it, so you can see the GPU sitting in the back. It's in headless mode, of course, but that's so that I can do transcoding on the fly for things like Jellyfin. This has 96 gigs of RAM. It would have 128, but I had a DIMM that died, unfortunately, and obviously during the memory crisis, not going to be buying anymore. So there's that. And then the other host, I'll go over more of the network equipment I have at some point, as well as this TrueNAS that I have down here, the super micro chassis you see with all the drives. But then down further here, this is where we've got two Rosewell chassis, and those are Rosewell's rack mount series, and I'm going to be honest, they're kind of awful. I don't know if I've done a full review of them or not, but the rails on them don't align appropriately, so if you're going to use them, you should use a shelf. In fact, you can see the nubs sticking out there because that top one is actually on a shelf, but the bottom one is almost impossible to slide out because of the rails that I got. They're the official rails. They're supposed to work for it. Anyway, not very good chassis. I recommend going with Silverstone or something like 45 Home Lab, but anyway, two other hosts. Both are also Threadripper. The top one there, I might have these two mixed up, but it doesn't really matter, same chassis. The top one there is a Threadripper 1920X, so that's 12 cores, 24 threads, and only 32 gigs of RAM right now. That one also seems to have some dead PCIe lanes, and I haven't been able to figure out if they're dead slots on the motherboard or if they're dead slots or dead lanes from the CPU. I'm not sure, because all of that was actually something I bought used off eBay because I needed another host. That was before the third gen Threadripper at the top became a host. And then this bottom one here is a Threadripper 1950X, and that one has 64 gigs of RAM. And storage-wise, we're looking at about half a terabyte. On the top two, and then the bottom guy down here has about a terabyte. That's an old Intel Enterprise SSD that I have in there. In fact, that one, I can't remember if I have that in RAID 0 or RAID 1, I mean, or not, a mirror. But anyway, so those are the chassis that I'm hosting stuff on. You can host quite a bit with that, although I want more RAM. That's kind of the big thing for me, and I also want to get better chassis. So something to come on the channel in the future is going to be better chassis, whether they're Silverstone, whether I go all the way up to something as premium as 45 Home Lab, but that is the plan.